GoPro Hero versus Insta360. What are the strengths and weaknesses of each camera? To find out, I mounted them both on the wing of a Cessna 172 aircraft I fly. The GoPro was securely fastened to the tie-down ring at the top of the strut. Meanwhile, the Insta360 was attached to the strut itself at the end of a 6-inch stainless steel extension rod. To ensure a fair comparison, I adjusted the camera settings as follows. As you can see, the GoPro log profile is significantly flatter than Insta360's so-called flat profile. To better evaluate the image, I increased the contrast and saturation for the GoPro footage in post-production. The GoPro also required a 500K color correction to match the X4. Overall, both cameras did a good job capturing details around the marina. At first glance, the Insta360 footage appears more detailed. However, when you zoom in, it becomes clear that this results from over-sharpening. The GoPro footage looks smoother, while the Insta360 X4 appears crunchy with noticeable artifacts. That said, at wider crops, the Insta360 footage can still look decent. If you prefer the sharper look, you could always add some sharpening to the GoPro footage in post-production. Of course, the field of view of the two cameras is dramatically different. The Insta360 X4 captures a full 360 by 180 degree spherical image, while the GoPro has a more traditional field of view. In the 8x7 open gate aspect ratio with hypersmooth enabled, the GoPro's wide lens field of view is approximately 113 by 100 degrees. The GoPro video resolution is 5312 by 4648 pixels, which yields a 5.3K image. The X4 is advertised as having 8K resolution, but this requires some context. The full 360-degree spherical video is 7680 by 3840 pixels, resulting in a 7.7K resolution. I suspect this was rounded up to 8K by their marketing team. Plus, unless you're producing videos for viewing in VR goggles, you'll always have to crop the spherical image before delivery. The resolution drops significantly when you crop in to match the GoPro's framing. Instead of 8K, the usable resolution drops to around 2.7K. Beyond the resolution, it's worth noting that the 360 videos are composed of two circular fisheye images, each captured on a separate 4K sensor. Open a low-resolution .lrv video file to view these two circular frames. The problem lies at the edges of these circles, where the image quality degrades substantially. As with any lens, optical quality is poorest at the periphery. Most Insta360 footage you see is not in this dual fisheye format. Instead, the camera applies a rectilinear projection to render a flat image. Each image circle gets stretched into a square format. Then, the two squares are combined to form a rectangular image with a 2:1 ratio. Think of it like flattening the two hemispheres of a world globe into a Mercator map. Just as that transformation distorts the map's poles, the top and bottom of the 360 rectilinear image are also stretched. For the best results, you must carefully orient the X4 camera to avoid placing key subjects near the stitch line where the two lenses meet. In contrast, the GoPro uses a single lens with a much narrower field of view, so it's easier to get consistent image quality across the entire frame. The GoPro has another advantage, the ability to attach ND, neutral density filters, often called prop filters. With the camera set to 100 ISO on a bright day, these filters will force a reduction in shutter speed, creating a more natural-looking motion blur for the propeller. Unfortunately, the Insta360's hemispherical lenses don't support traditional flat ND filters, and no third-party hemispherical ND filters currently exist. I also flew over a small lake near the airport, hoping to capture some reflected sunlight on the water's surface to test the dynamic range. Here's what happened. The GoPro wasn't pointing where I thought, so it only recorded part of the lake. With the Insta360, this wasn't an issue. I could adjust the framing in post-production to center the lake perfectly. This fact highlights a key advantage of the Insta360, flexibility. If you're filming dynamic scenes such as aerial maneuvers or formation flying, the Insta360's all-encompassing field of view ensures you'll never miss the shot. I didn't test the low light performance of the cameras during this flight, but based on my past experiences, neither of these cameras is particularly good at night. Their tiny 1/2-inch size sensors are simply too small to capture sufficient light. If I had to choose one, it would be the X4, but the resulting images are still quite disappointing. For better results, it's advisable to use a full-frame mirrorless camera at night. The GoPro's hyper-smooth stabilization does a reasonable job of eliminating most vibrations, but struggles to keep the horizon level during turns through larger angles. On the other hand, the Insta360's flow state stabilization can compensate for motion in all directions, including extreme shifts in angle, because it captures a complete spherical image. Regardless of the aircraft's movements, the horizon remains perfectly level. Each camera has its strengths and is suited to different missions. The GoPro offers point-and-shoot simplicity with consistent image quality across its narrower field of view. Plus, it allows the attachment of ND filters to render smoother, more natural-looking propellers. Meanwhile, the Insta360 offers unmatched versatility in framing, but this comes with a cost in image quality and editing time because every video requires some post-processing. Choosing between them ultimately depends on your needs. I hope this comparison helps you make an informed decision. Have fun, fly safe, and I'll see you in the next video.